Hello, my fellow car maulers. How you doing today? Another vlog to blow my face right off my skull. And I'm sure someone will get ticked because that's what I set out to do. Not really. I'm joking. But my opinions can irritate people, but it's to provoke you to think. Maybe open minds. Maybe close my... I don't know. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to be a productive member of the model car society, and this is my way. And sometimes I stick my foot right up my mouth. Wait, it goes like this. Okay, everybody, we got cartoons in the background here. It's granddad watching grandson day, and he's really being quite quiet, hanging there watching the cartoons. He wanted to be in here with grandpa, so we can't blame him for that. I'm pretty fun. So, I put a post on the Luka Cee model car hobby headquarters Facebook group. Join that frickin' thing, because you're missing out, I'm telling you. So, this is what we're going to do. I have a bunch of questions. I asked members to post questions for me to do a Q&A right now, so that's what we're doing. And it's vlog type, and I said, hey, well, why don't I read you what I said? I said, okay, fellow car modelers, because that's what you are. If you tune in here, you're pretty much a car modeler. What I said was I want to make a Q&A vlog today. Post your questions here. I will read them off and try to answer them with a big try. I think I'm going to try real hard to answer these questions. I challenge you all. Let's see who can set me off. And then I hashtag set Luka Cee off. I really don't know what that means. I'm sorry I don't get the hashtag thing. I just do it because it seems to be the thing to do on the internet. I don't know. It was funny, I thought. So let's begin. Right now there's 22 comments. And if there's anybody commenting while I'm making this video, I might get your question out there. We'll see. But we're going to go from the top to the bottom. I'm not going to, every one of them is going to get read while this video rolls. So here we go. First one, and he made sure I would say his name correctly. So let's see if I can destroy it. Joe, I already wrecked the first name. Joe, did you know? There, did I do it, Joe? Okay. So Joe asked, if you could have only one real one-to-one car of any model that you may have built, including any Tom Daniels designs, what would it be? Well, I tell you what, that's a trick question there, because pretty much every freaking model you build is a car that you would like to own. But if I got to pick them out, I might have to say multiple ones here. So, but if out of all my models I've built, which, you see back there, models, and there's been many more that have fallen into decay, as we've seen in other videos. Let's see. The one model that I literally have dreams about, and this takes me back to, I used to be in the field industry business. I one time worked for a shop that we restored vintage race cars. So I was kind of in that realm for a while of the vintage race car racing, whatever. It would have to be a NASCAR City Chevrolet Lumina. That car, I don't know what it is, and a lot of people say that was the end of stock car when the Lumina came out. That killed the stuff. The last of the cool looking ones were the Thunderbirds and Monte Carlos and stuff of the late 80s. And I have to tend to agree that is my favorite time period, is the 80s. Those are the coolest cars, in my opinion. But I did like the Lumina when it first hit the scene. I really liked the Lumina. Anyways, I actually saw the City Chevrolet running around the Phoenix track they were filming. I didn't even know they were filming a movie so much. I didn't know who that was, and I fell in love with that car at that moment. Wanted to build a model of it, and took some pictures, and come to find out, that, and I wanted to build a model of it, and then Monogram came out with the kit, so I built it immediately. So I love that car. I love that yellow and green to this day. It's, when I see that on a race car, I love that color combination, the green and the yellow. But I've had dreams of owning, not necessarily owning the car. I mean, that's at Hendricks Motorsports, actually. I've got a couple of them. And the actual real car, many of them, but they used, recycled Hendrick Motorsports cars. And one was actually, at one time, from what I understand, I don't know how correct this is, and I'm going off on another story, but this answers, yeah, you asked. Too bad you're going to hear it. One of the main hero cars, from what I understand and something I read, was actually a Tim Richmond Folgers Monte Carlo that they reskinned as a Lumina, and that car has been since restored back to the Tim Richmond livery, Folgers with a Monte Carlo body on it. Anyways, I just would love to get a hold of a correct of that era, late 1989, 90 Lumina stock car, and paint it like the City Chevrolet. It doesn't have to be the real car. That is my car of a model I built that I would love to have the real thing. That is the tops. As far as any of my models, my dream car is a 57 Chevy. I would love to have a 57 Chevy. I've built quite a few models of 57 Chevys, and I showed that orange one, but that necessarily wouldn't be the 57 Chevy I want. I actually, if I could pick any 57 Chevy I'd want, it would be probably a two-door wagon, not a Nomad, a two-door wagon. Even a four-door wagon. Quite honestly, I actually prefer four doors when it comes to wagons. And then there's many other cars, but I've built tons of models, and every one I want it to be a real car of mine. But if there was one that literally has popped in dreams and always been a thought, and if I could, and by the way, if I was to have an old stock car, an old Lumina stock car, and I would paint it like the City Chevrolet, I guarantee you that thing would be street legal, and I'd be driving it around the streets of Phoenix. No way out of that one, pals. Next question. I bet you guys are glad about that, because this is going to be a long video if I keep running and ranting off of that. All right, so we got Joe Morgan here. What do you think are the 3 most critical tools that every modeler must have? That is an extremely good question. The most critical tools. Well, I have them here because this is my bench right here. The most critical tools when you start building a model, you got to have all your digits. You want to keep them. So I'm going to talk about this baby right here. Got to have one. This is a got to have. You got to have this. You pretty much got to have. Second is at least a little nubba thing like here to clip things and stuffs. Sanding sticks. An assortment, unfortunately, but the assortment could be one tool. You want sanding sticks, sandpaper, sanding stuff. I think those are essential to get started in model building. And then you can move. It goes from there. Next question. I'm going to whack these names. I know it. Mark Oh, Mark, forgive me. Anyways, when is the time to just give up on a model, if there is a time, or do you power through no matter what? Now, this is an opinion question. My opinion, I can just, I think you would know by the problems I have with all these started models that we have. Many of these boxes actually have a started model in it. If I start having a problem or I run into an issue, unfortunately, lots of times I'm so frustrated. It's not fun. I lose interest fast, and the model goes into a box. Sometimes it gets pulled back out. There's always an intention for it to get pulled back out, but it usually never gets pulled back out. And I end up starting another one that I'll quit on and put it in a box and stuff like that. And out of every 5, 6, 7, 8 models I start, one will get finished because it just goes right. When it flows, when it feels right, when I'm having fun, that's the model that gets completed. It's how I work at how it is. You can tell me I'm right. You can tell me I'm wrong. But that's how it is for me. Some of my friends always says, just forge on, get that thing done. Well, I have done that. And when I have, I would have a hideous chud of a model that I would hate. So I never, ever did that and be glad with and happy with the model when it's done. So what the heck is the point? I do this to enjoy myself. So if I'm not enjoying myself anymore, that sucker gets put away. There's one that I want to get back on that I've literally lost. It's here, but I've lost it. I've been looking for years for this one particular model that I actually want to finish very badly. That a little frustrating thing happened, but now I really don't care. I can live with it, and I want that back, and I can't find it. It's here somewhere, and I can't find that thing. If any of you seen this model, let me know, because I want to finish it. Next question from Brandon White. Brandon White blasted a whole bunch of them, and they were all good questions, so I'm going to hit them. I'm going to hit all these, Brandon. Although some of them, I think you're just complaining like I do. So Brandon says, using a dull number 11 blade on a $30 kit, a 60-cent blade, and people get bent over paying for these blades after buying a kit for $30. I get what he's saying here. Yeah. So they continue, you know, dude, once that thing is dull, what is the use? It does a crappy job. And I tend to be like that. It's like, I want this thing to go for a long time. It's like I've tried all different kinds, and there's times that, boy, I can use it once and waste it, you know, just cutting the wrong thing or the right thing. You just need to use it, and you waste that blade immediately. Throw that thing away. He's right. They're cheap. Who cares? You're paying $30, $40, $50 for your model. Why? Well, this is a whole nother subject. One day I want to blow my face off on. It might be for another vlog. Is just flat out using cheap materials on an expensive model kit sends my brain fuzzing. But he's right. That's where he's getting at. I get it. You know, just who cares? Buy the blades, replace them when needed. You want to have fun. Stop worrying. You got to worry about money. I don't want to say that, but you know, come on. Just replace the blade. And then Brandon White, again. Brandon, we're going to have to sit down and have a talk. Lacquer versus enamel. Easy one. Lacquer. But easier that. I hate enamels. I don't mess with enamels. If I have to use an enamel, I don't use it. I don't like enamels. So lacquers are really cool. They're old technology, but I still find them useful. I'm really excited about these new Tamiya lacquer paints. I finally got a hold of one. I've talked about it. I want to try it out. Lacquer has its use. Me personally, my personal is I like using polyurethane if I can. But even at that, polyurethane, usually with the clears. I don't like using lacquer clears. Most of them yellow. And why bother? I just get a better finish with automotive clear shot through a gun or my airbrush. It's what I do. I like it. Or I will use Tamiya, which is a lacquer, synthetic lacquer base. Tamiya crystal clear or whatever they call it. I like using that sometimes if I just feel like using cans. But many times, I'm really a Tamiya fan. The only time I ever did like testers is when they did lacquers. Their enamels, they can take their enamels. Well, it doesn't matter. They don't exist no more. Thank you, Rust-Oleum. No, I am a lacquer fan. When it comes between lacquer and enamels, I've always leaned towards the lacquers. Enamels are useless to me. They take forever to dry. They never dry. You get your thumbprint in them. I want to move along. You got a model sitting there for 17, 18 weeks setting up, or you use dehydrators to suck the life out of them. Why? You know, the only time I'll use an enamel, and I don't even go this far anymore, is, you know, the little testers things is flats, because at least they dry quick. Enamels send my brain. You wind me, Brandon. Let's move on to your next question. Sanding scratches on black paint job models. Ew. Sanding scratches on any models is pain, but black is a nightmare because black shows off everything. But that's more, you got the sanding scratches. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, all right. You're talking about yeah, right. Now I got it. I got your question. Thank you. Okay, it's like this. Prep. Your paint prep is the most important, especially when you're painting black. Black is this unforgiving paint. So the slightest sand scratches in your primer and body work will show through your black paint job. No ways around it. You could pile a zillion coats of the black and it's still going to do this and show that it's going to... No. Yes. If you're going to do a black car, you better be on point, laser straight with your body work, or no go, dude. It's gonna, listen, I'll tell you, it goes like if I ever paint my black Fox body Mustang, it's getting a different color because I don't want to deal with it, because I hate doing body work, and I am lazy body work guy, even with my models. That's why I don't have a lot of black cars. So, I mean, I talked about it with my Porsche. It's a dark color, and I lazed out and a couple of sand scratches. Can you see? I don't know if you can see in that. I got a couple of sand scratches, and this is a Corsair blue, and it's showing, especially right here. And you know what? And on the roof a little. And you know what? I'm kind of done with this model, and I want it finished. because I really want to move on to another one, and I want that model finished. So I'm gonna break your heart, Brandon. That thing's gonna have some sand scratches in it. So you're right, it sucks. Ew, you're right. Moving along with another one of Brandon White's questions. Now these are good questions, those dudes. So I appreciate you doing it. So I'm just busting your balls, you know. And Brandon is a producer too. So you know, Brandon, I'm gonna have to take Aaron's little thing and bring it over to you. I'm gonna have to tell you to shut up. But it's more funner to tell Aaron to shut up. So Aaron, shut up. So let's move on. Painting your parts on sprues and then touching them up, which still shows the touched up. You are, man, dude, you're rough. I agree with you. You can still see brush strokes, people. Yeah. Oh, I love how he said. Let me reread this. Okay. He says painting parts on sprues and then touching them up, which still shows you touch them up to the eye. You can see brush strokes, people. Damn straight. I have never, ever understood that. It's easy, but that has never happened on the Luka Cee bench. I do not paint parts while they're still on the sprue, because you got to cut that thing off and sand and fix the area that is infected by the sprue. You have a scar there. You got to get rid of it. You got to do a little plastic surgery. Oh, my God, I air quoted. He's right. Don't do that. Just stop. I'm going to say it right now. You guys who do that, frickin' stop doing it. That's why we have devices like these forceps. And, you know, I take this part right here, and I took a piece of wire, and I drilled a little hole on the inside. It doesn't matter because it's a mirror, and I just have that piece of wire there holding it, and I painted it. And that's better. That's better than if I would have left this on the sprue. My goodness. Stop it. Just stop. You're about to win, Brandon. Your questions are setting me off. Oh, Brandon, this one, you're really going to set me off. This is where you, sir, are wrong. Resin 3D printing is the new age of casting. Change my mind. Okay there, Steven Crowder. Let's do that. Let's sit down. I'm about to change your mind. No, it is not the new age of casting, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I imagine this will evolve and they will be better, but no. And I am a big fan of 3D printing, as I am going to be purchasing a 3D printer, a resin 3D printer. And that's all we're going to talk about is resin, because the other stuff, you know, which is cool and all that, but you know what? That's already becoming old technology, guys. Think about this too if you're looking for printers, because you get those lines, and also, you know, there's a use for that type of prototype printing, but no. But you hear what they call it, what it really is called. It's called prototype printing, 3D printing. Okay, you want to use, for, you know, better is resin. And the reason why you don't get the lines. So it's easier to clean up and all that, but there's still a lot of cleanup. You've seen a lot of companies coming, and I remember seeing this a long time ago. First of all, let me just, I'm backtracking. I'm going to say, if you guys don't know, I have a background in industrial model making. A lot of years. I've done it professionally a lot of years. Resin casting, a lot of years. I have a lot of resin casting experience. We'll get to that a little later. I know my stuff about resin casting. And I was heavy into the business at the time when these printers were coming out. And I knew a shop here in town that they had these giant 3D printers. And yes, it was the way. But even these guys will tell you, it was for making a prototype, one-off, not to produce. It's not feasible, economical, or nothing. The best thing to do is to make your master with the prototyping 3D printer and using a resin one. Less cleanup, but there's still a lot of cleanup. They got it. They're not perfect out of there. They're not going to be. It's going to be. Maybe the technology will get better, and I doubt it. It's best to have a modeler hold them and make them perfect. You mold it in rubber and you cast it in resin. That's going to be your best. And it's best for production, because you see these guys who are trying to make a business. Here, I'm going to tick some guys off because there's some of you out there, but I've noticed a shift in that business, and we'll talk about that too. Is with 3D printing and guys trying to use 3D printing, produce parts, and sell the parts, you're losing your minds, and then all of a sudden, you know, these guys are buying like more printers, and they got racks of printers going because they got to produce, because it takes time to make that one part. It takes forever. So you got to have a bunch of them going, and then people are waiting. So a lot of them are starting to shift to just selling their designs, which I think is a great idea. They just sell their designs because they know a lot of people are now buying 3D printers, which is awesome. That's awesome. But I say, if you're going to do that, get a resin 3D printer. They're not that much more. You're going to be happier. You're going to hate your, what do you call it? Where it's the wire, plastic going through, melted, and zzz, instead of the coming up from like a god, like Excalibur coming out of the lake. You know, it's just beautiful. These pieces just rise. If you guys saw my video, the difference between the second one I did, the difference between 24th and 25th scale, and my friend from Savino's JR, Jim Rogers, sent me a 3D printed body of this body here, which is their Pontiac, and he sent me this one that was out of the same design, but he did it in 25th scale just to show the difference. And if you can see here, but we're not going to get into the difference between 25th and 24th. These are the exact same 3D model printed, but here, this 3D model printed, it didn't even make it to me. It was broken and stuff because they're very, very not usable. You don't want to use this to build a model. This is a prototype, and not knocking Jim at all. It's not Jim. It's the technology. He'd even tell you, you don't use this for. You don't want to do that. Now, Jim, you here, Jim. I'm not stepping on you. I don't want to. Jim will make special parts for people. He has sent me some 3D printed parts and small parts like this. And what he's doing, it works out great. He's just helping the guys out and just selling some parts. It's easy for him. He prints out bunches of stuff all the time. And here's some Hemi valve covers he sent me just to show. You can see how it comes out of the vat. All right, I dropped that one, but good thing I have another. So, you know, it's very cool. It's a hell of a technology. You got a beautiful, beautiful piece. But even he would tell you, if it came to doing mass production, putting them out for larger scale consumption, 3D printing is not the way to go. The way to go is you make it in rubber, cast it in resin. Did I go on too long about this? And again, yes, your product is going to be better being resin casted. That's what I have to say. So Brandon, you, sir, are freaking wrong. It's set. It brought something great to the industry. I'm telling you. Like I said, when this 3D printing first came out, I thought for like my industry, I go, oh, this is a game changer. I'm so excited about it, and I can't wait to get my 3D printer because, oh man, this is going to be a long video. Let's move on. All right, I'm done with you, Brandon. That was your last one. It was his last one. I'm not cutting him off. Okay. Oh, God, another name. I'm not going to have John. I'm so sorry. Koinginski. I'm not doing that to be funny. I'm sorry I said it. I hope maybe I said it right. I don't know. Okay. Why are kits like AMT, Revell, etc. just as expensive as Tamiya kits now? And nowhere near the quality. Please don't get me wrong. I love the kits. All right, we talked about this, and he is right. Yes. Well, it's like this guy. Yeah, it used to be years ago, Tamiya was really high dollar. But this is how it was. Back in the day, why AMT and Revell kits were this much and Tamiya was this much was because Tamiya purposely inflated their prices because they were the best. So they commanded bigger money. They were better quality. So to me, it was like, we're going to ask more. That was their, I tell you what, the best thing to do, again, go to Max's models. He does great documentaries, and I mentioned this documentary before. He did a documentary on Tamiya. It's outstanding. And he stated in that documentary, that was their reasoning. I got that from him. So kudos to Max. Thank you for giving me information to blow off to make me look smart. So they purposely inflated their prices because they were very, very, very proud of their stuff, and they had every right to be because Tamiya kits were outstanding. And they figured they were marketing to a different model builder anyways, and they knew these guys were going for quality, didn't care about price. And that was very true for a long time. As the years have gone by, Now, let's not forget, and you're going to, I'm getting sidetracked, but I got to say this. You're going to see, I predict this year, you're going to see a spike in the costs of models. And the reason why is, what are they made of? They're made of styrene plastic. And what is that produced by? That evil thing they call fossil fuel that everyone wants to kill. Even though 99.9% of our society runs off of fossil fuel, not just for the fuel, but for oil is used for making almost everything. This camera, this mic, my hat, the light that I just hit and shut off. Everything has some kind of petroleum-based chemical in there. So we need to keep the oil pumping until they figure out another way, which will take years. And I agree, we have to figure out another way. I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but just stopping it. Well, because there are certain people that decided to stop a certain thing, and it's going to cause, and because of other climatic events, have caused fuel prices to go up, the cost of oil going up, the cost of your models are going to go up, because the cost of producing them is going to go up, because the cost of plastic is going to go up. Live with it. That is why it is the cost of doing business. Everything has gone up. Tamiya has chose to not notch up as far as everyone else, because they were already making the money, and they at least have been nice enough. Because if they would have stayed going with their original plan, Tamiya kits would be $100. And there are some. I'm talking like a typical 24 scale model car. Their 911, for instance, that I love, would be $100 today. But they didn't do that. So they're still making their money. That is why they're not raising their prices like everybody else had to. They didn't have to. I'm kind of working on theory here. I'm not 100% on that, but I bet you I'm right. That is why. So let's move on. Tim Duvall, what is the one car you find building more than others? I have stated this before. The one car, it's more like the one kit. It's not so much a car, because sometimes a body change, but it is the NASCAR stock cars, a lot of them, the GM one, which is the same kit over and over again, but they got a zillion bodies, like Silvino's. It's the one that Silvino's has put back out. It used to be a Monogram, then Revell, and then Silvino's Jim starts designing these really cool bodies we never had, so now we got new versions of this very old kit. That is probably the one. What is the one car you find yourself building more than others? If it's a street car, I go through phases, man. Right now I'm in this 911 kick. So I'm building a bunch of 911s. I've been through my Camaro kick. I've been through my Willys kick. And I'll build a bunch. So it really just depends. In my whole career of model building, it still would have to be the Monogram GM stock cars. Buicks, Monte Carlos, all that. But it's basically the same kit, different body. That is probably the most familiar kit. I can shut my eyes and picture that entire kit and how it assembles. See, Felix agrees with me. Thanks for that. That's a pretty good one, Tim. Jeremy Reed, what is the best advice to give when using bare metal foil for the first time? You get a brand new sheet. Do not use an old sheet. Make sure it's in good shape, because that stuff decays. Best way to say it. You keep it for a while, it goes straight to heck. I'm trying not to swear, but it goes straight to heck. Yeah, that is the best advice. And let's go back to that who was that who said that one? It was Brandon. When he went off about the number 11 blades. He's right. Do not cheapen out. Use a fresh, brand new blade. Trust me on that one. And also, don't be cheap with your bare metal foil. See, I know you said the one thing, but I just watch my video. That'll tell you right there. Okay, Felix wants to get involved, guys. So he's here. Say hi, Felix. Don't be shy. Just say hi. Here, you want to play with a model? You want to build it? He loves coming to the table here. He loves all this stuff. All right, so hoarders versus collectors versus builders. Oh, God. Jeffrey Diro. You son of a... Well, I have covered the hoarder thing and the collector thing and I like them all. Well, first of all, is hoarding... I don't call myself a model kit collector. I call myself a model kit hoarder. But, hey, you know what? I'm wearing this shirt. Andy had this for a while. Can we see that? See what it says? I'm holding Felix. I'm trying to look back. Yeah. The society here. I don't know if that worked out. I'll leave it in there because it's ridiculous. But, yeah. Well, I would have to put myself in that category of all three. I am a hoarder. I am a collector because I actually do have kits I really don't intend to break into. I bought them originally to build, but they're so freaking old and cool. I don't want to do them, and a lot of them have been reissued, so there's no point of it. So I like to collect old kits that I have. I won't spend a lot of money on them. I'm not so much to say a collector. As far as selling, the way I look at it is this is all stuff my kid could sell and get a little more money when I go... And then this little guy, or if he wants to keep them, they're his, and he could build them. Or he could put them together, put firecrackers in, and blow them the hell up. Oh, I said it. I said the H word. I don't think there's anything negative or bad about being a hoarder versus collector versus builder. It's nothing negative. It's all cool. And the one thing is if it wasn't for the guys who collect and hoard, these model companies wouldn't exist. Think about it. Because what if we only bought what we built? These guys would go out of business. They couldn't produce. That's the whole thing. That's why there's so many kits in the world. Nobody builds them, but they buy them, and that's what keeps the kits flowing. So keep on hoarding, people. We want more kits. I don't have enough. Which goes to the next question from Chris Wheaton. What is a realistic stash size? Whatever the hell you can fit.